good afternoon. This afternoon, I'm very happy to welcome Miss Kate Surinskaya. She's an actress and also a filmmaker, a writer, director, so far of three short films. And she will tell us about them and her new projects as well. How are you, Kate? Thank you very much for joining the live.
Thank you, Sherif. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Kate, thank you for sending me your short film Parallels. This is your latest film, and you did two shorts before it. But before we talked about it being an award-winning film, and how did you venture into filmmaking, tell me a little bit about your early childhood, your interest into art, because in your website, in your filmography, you mentioned that you used to play roles with young kids, right?
Mhm. Yeah, well, I guess my biography on my website, it says just an overall feel of the arts, like why did I get into it? I used to play with kids in my neighborhood, just like reenacting scenes from movies or plays, and we would just have fun, doing it. But it wasn't anything close to being professional, and we just had fun, and I really loved acting and movies. And so later on, it took me a while to get into it professionally, quote unquote. But I had to go to university first. I got a degree in economics, and during that time, I realized that my passion for the arts is not just like my hobby, or it's more than that. And I felt like this is my call, and I have to just go for it. And that's when I started acting in theater plays in my university. We had a theater studio, and I got some roles there, and I just got feel for the stage. And then I even started acting in our local drama theater in their studio. They had like also a small studio for kids who wanted to get into acting. And after that, only years later, basically, when I moved to New York, I started acting professionally. I went to school and I started auditioning and getting into more films and plays. Um, but it took me a while. Yeah, it took me a while. And partially my film Parallels covers that. It is based on my life and my mom's life, how she grew up, and basically how we both strived to go for what we want in life, how we both wanted to live lives we want to live.
Yes, and what I want to ask you, you have Russian descendant, right?
Yes, yes. I was born and raised in Russia, and
Mhm.
yeah, I only moved to the United States 8 years ago, uh, for basically just pursuing acting. That's how I started, and I'm still acting, but I also realized I want to be fully in films, and I want to direct as well.
Yes, this is great. I visited Russia two times. I was jury in two festivals.
Oh wow.
One in Orenburg,
Uh-huh.
it is near Kazakhstan border, and the other time was in Kazan Film Festivals
Oh.
as well. So, and I also we visited Moscow as well after the two festivals. So I have nice memories and many friends like yourself in Russia in St. Petersburg as well.
Oh, nice.
Uh, what I wanted to ask you, a lot of actresses can venture into writing or directing after spending like 10 years, 20 years or more,
Hmm.
in their career. What I wanted to ask you, why did you started to write and direct your own material at a early age or a young age? Like you still young, as I imagine. Why you wanted to try it early in your career?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think originally, when I lived in New York, now I live in LA. But as I said before, I my first destination was New York City. That's when I started acting. And winters over there could be, could be brutal too. Could be as brutal as in Russia, and kind of boring sometimes. So I started writing on the side just because I needed like just a creative outlet and just do something, had a bunch of ideas and I didn't know how to express them, but to write, and that was just like a goofy way of doing it. I didn't think of anything. I did not imagine, and still not quite consider myself like as a screenwriter, right? Even though I actually do have legit material nowadays, but I never really studied it, really like I don't consider myself like I'm a trained, screenwriter. I just watched a bunch of movies and I read some books about it. But for me, it was always just like some sort of creative outlet besides acting. And when I realized like, okay, I have something more to say to this industry. I have more to say, like I just want more ways to be able to express myself. And that's when I decided like, okay, I want to actually explore screenwriting and, not consider it as just a side hobby and actually invest more time in it. Um, and over 2020, that's when, when we were all in the pandemic mode, I was like, this is the time to, go back to those ideas and actually explore them. And that's when I wrote my feature thriller, which I actually am trying to produce right now and trying to lift it off the ground. And it got into quarterfinals and like semifinals in a couple of screenwriting festivals. And I was like, okay, this seems to be like a good idea. Somebody likes it. So I feel like screenwriting for me is just a way of telling the story how you fully want it, without anybody telling you how to do it. Obviously, later on, you work on it more and you tweak a lot of things. And later on, you probably will work with producers who will tell you, hey, like we should do something here or replace this scene with something else. But the original state of it is like your full creativity, and you're not controlled by anyone. As an actor, you always like, you don't have a word. You pretty much, you just like read the script that's already written. You take directions from directors and stuff. But with screenwriting, I felt like I can express my thoughts through my characters. um yeah, that's like a long explanation. Sorry, but that's how
Yeah,
I just felt so passionate about like screenwriting, because I felt so free in it.
great. And I've seen the film was well received in many festivals and got many awards, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we got into 13 festivals as of right now,
Yes,
and we got a bunch of awards basically in, I think, four of them. That's yeah, they've been announced already. Um, yeah, I'm very blessed that it was well received.
yes. But tell me, Kate, right now, what did you discover about yourself as an artist when you started to be behind the camera?
Um, yeah. Wow, that's so much. Obviously, this is, well, actually, the correction. This film was my first film. It wasn't my third film. This was the first film that I wrote, directed, produced, and even had a role in it. So starting it, and um, I've discovered that. I mean, it sounds cliche, but you have to be very passionate about the story and what you want to tell, because you will sit with the story for the next 2 years at least. It covers, from writing to production, then festivals. It's been already a year for me. Well, no more, a year and a half, I would say. So you have to be really passionate about this project because you're going to be with it for a while, and you're gonna have to present it, at the festivals, at like interviews like this. Just you have to really love what you're doing, and it takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of energy out of you. So if you're feeling like iffy about something, then you probably won't stick to it, and you will not finish it. And a lot of people told me that, like, we admire what you do because you actually completed the project, you finished it. You like For me, it's like, of course, yeah, that's what I told I'm gonna do, but
Yes.
they probably had their own reasoning, because yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to make a movie and then to stick with it after.
Yes. Yes. But tell me, I see that you are preparing another short film, right? It's called When Will I See You Again? This is correct?
Oh no, this is a project that I acted in. This is
Yes.
no, this is not my own project, but it's by
As
the
an
by this
actor.
wonderful writer, filmmaker, yeah, Eric, and we already shot it, and it's out at the festivals, I believe. Um, no, this my next project is gonna be this short film that I'm uh, producing with my friend. It's I'm not gonna disclose anything yet. It's just because like
Yes.
it's too early on in the development. But
Hmm.
the the one that I'm really really passionate about right now is my feature film. I'm really want to direct a feature, and this was the story that I wrote over in 2020 that I just mentioned to you. That it's
Yes.
a it's a thriller based on Russian fairy tales, and yeah, this story is like very something that I would love to live for the next
Uh,
2 years.
yes. But of course, you've been in the States and you see a lot of films right now with big actors come very fast online right now on platforms, and some films are released at the same time as theaters, go straight away, to be on a digital platform.
Yeah.
Yourself, you like your film to go to be online directly, or do you prefer to be in cinemas, and people go and watch it?
My dream is to be in theaters. Yeah. And I
Yes,
think it's a lot of makers' dream. I don't think theaters are going anywhere, and I hope they're not really. Um, but no, my goal is to make this film theatrically released worldwide.
yes. Hmm.
Yeah, this one I definitely imagine to be in theaters.
Yes. And right now, um, if you were offered other roles right now in other films by other directors, would you be, anxious to do it, or you like to right now write your own material for yourself?
No, I welcome any creative projects. I would love to act in somebody else's
Hmm.
work, of course.
Yes,
Yeah, no, that definitely. I mean, it's just like people ask me, like, what do you like most? Do you like acting, writing, or directing? I'm
yes,
like, I don't know, I like all of it, because it puts you in a different state of mind. As an actor, you're trying to. For me, there is a challenge because you're trying to get into this story and this character's mind. You're preparing yourself and your body in a different way. Obviously, for screenwriting, it's more of like you kind of you do it in your own pace. And yes, sometimes like I had deadlines where I have to deliver something on time. You're fighting again, like you're fighting yourself. You're trying to find inspiration, creativity. Like it's a different kind of challenge too. um, and then directing, it's like all of it. In a way, you're overseeing the whole picture. So a lot of decision making. Everybody's asking me, "What do you want? What's your opinion on this? Do you want this or do you want that?" So you have to be
Hmm.
like very. That's what also I understood. Like you have to be very. Um, you have to know what you want exactly.
Uh,
And you really
Spontaneous.
you
Yeah.
can't like you can't just be like, oh, I don't know. I mean, you have to know the story so well and how you want to execute it, because other people depend on you, and you're the
Yes.
leader. You have to just make a choice.
Yes, and of course you stay with the film. You know, the director stay with the film in the editing and the post production. So you are there from start to finish. You know, if you are only an actress, you will finish your job and go home. But the director keep on working on the film and later festival distribution, all this. You know, so it stick with you a long time. Any project, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
I'm happy that in your next feature you will incorporate, you know, Russian fairy tale and heritage, because you know from when you see many American films, you notice that the Russians or the Russian characters are quite stereotyped, you know. So I hope that people through your new film can discover more about you know Russian culture heritage because it's you know Russia is very I mean rich you know especially in you know in great writers and heritage of music as well dancing so there are a lot of stuff to discover you know for people outside who never been in Russia or never knew about its cultural heritage.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. And for me, it's like when I meet people who know a little more about Russian literature or films or just overall culture. For me, it's already like a surprise because it's not that common. People, yeah, like you said, watch all those I don't know, action movies, and the Russians are always mafia, or something like very stereotypical guys. um,
Yes,
yeah, and for me, I just laugh at this point. In the beginning, I was like mad. Now I'm just laughing. Uh, but it is what it is, and it takes an army to change somebody else's opinion.
yes, many movies as well.
Many movies, many, yeah, but you have to start with something. You have to start with one.
Yes, yes. Finally, Kate, I want to ask you, do you have a certain dream you want to achieve, a dream role, a dream project, something professional, personal you want to achieve in the next years?
Yeah, definitely. Well, this movie that I want to make for sure. Yeah, that's just definitely a dream.
Yes,
Um, it takes a lot of time, effort, good team, finance, of course. So I definitely want to make this film happen, and I think it's going to be a very unique film and very and commercially unique too. Commercially unique. So this one is definitely on my list. That if working in someone else's project, I mean, I always admired Christopher Nolan, so I
uh,
would love to work with him. Even on a small, in the tiniest role, whatever.
yes, yes,
Just love the way he thinks and writes, and he's just creatively. He's like a creative genius for me. So definitely, I would love to
yes.
work with him on some film.
I hope so. You know, Christopher Nolan. I watch all his films even before he was famous. I don't
Hmm.
know if you have watched his first film, Following.
Yeah, I
It
did.
was a
Yeah,
black and white film, and then what was it, Memento? You know, with Guy
yeah,
Pearce, and then he started to realize bigger, of course, projects with Inception
yeah.
and the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. Yes, I wish you the best, and also you realize your dreams in your own projects and working with the filmmakers you would like to collaborate with. And thank you very much, Kate, for the live. I look forward to attend the premiere of your feature film,
Thank you.
in the US.
I would love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Spasiba.
you. Спасибо.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.